Hello friends. If you were born on February 19th, then you live in the liminal space between the stars. You're not just a Pisces, though that dreamy, intuitive, deeply empathetic energy runs through your soul like a river. You're also flavored by the bold, final fire of Aquarius. You're a rare celestial hybrid, a bridge between air and water, intellect and emotion, logic and magic. Let's decode the rich cosmic story of who you really are. Astrological identity, February 19th zodiac personality. Being born on February 19th places you in one of the most unique positions on the astrological wheel. You stand at the threshold between the cerebral world of Aquarius and the emotional, intuitive realm of Pisces, a duality that shapes your personality in profound, often paradoxical ways. This is known as the cusp of sensitivity, and it's not just poetic, it's powerful. You're not confined by traditional traits. You're a walking, breathing fusion of genius and empathy. As a Pisces influenced by Aquarius, you're emotionally deep yet intellectually sharp. You can drift into dreams and still hold a laser-sharp vision of what the future could be. You're compassionate, but you're no pushover. You want to help the world, but you also want to reinvent it. You're driven by an internal compass that points to something more meaning, more connection, more understanding. And that more often guides you to places others can't even see yet. Your connection to Neptune, Pisces' ruling planet, brings imagination, mysticism, and idealism. But because you're so close to Aquarius territory, you also absorb some of Uranus's electricity, spontaneous ideas, a love for innovation, and a restlessness for change. The combination is nothing short of a creative revolution. Your element, water, gives you emotional intelligence, adaptability, and intuition. You feel things before others do. You often can't explain how you know something, you just do. Water signs flow, and you flow through people, ideas, conversations, and emotions, picking up vibrations like a cosmic antenna. And because you're a mutable sign, you're flexible and ever-evolving. You can reinvent yourself more times than Madonna. You absorb your environment like a sponge and then, somehow, turn it into art, emotion, or insight. This isn't always easy. Your identity can feel slippery, hard to pin down, even for you. You may often wonder, who am I, really? But the answer is, you are everything. A mirror to others, a lighthouse in the fog, and sometimes, a mystery even to yourself. Love, marriage relationships. When it comes to love, you don't just date, you feel people. You absorb their energy, their moods, their wounds, their dreams. This is why casual relationships never truly satisfy you. Your heart is a sacred temple, and you treat love like a soul ceremony. You believe in cosmic connections. Twin flames, karmic bonds, past life lovers, these aren't just buzzwords to you. They're real. You know deep down that you're meant to experience something rare and transcendent in romance. You often wait for the one, with the patience of a monk and the longing of a poet. Falling in love for you is not just emotional, it's metaphysical. You merge, you feel your partner's pain like your own. You dream about them, think in their voice, lose your edges in their presence. And while this can be deeply beautiful, it can also be dangerous, especially if you choose a partner who takes more than they give. Boundaries in love are your greatest challenge and your greatest teacher. In marriage, you're fiercely loyal. You don't enter lifelong commitments lightly. When you say, I do, it comes with a full-body vow, mind, heart, and soul. You long for a partner who sees your depth and doesn't fear it. Someone who can handle your intensity without trying to fix or dilute it. You want passion, yes, but also peace. You crave a quiet understanding, a shared dream, a joint spiritual journey. And while you're nurturing and emotionally available, you also need space, time to retreat into your inner world. A partner who respects your alone time, and maybe even shares it, will bring out your best self. Without this balance, even the deepest love can become suffocating. Your ideal partner is someone who listens, not just hears you, but really listens. Someone who values emotional intelligence and knows how to navigate the waters of your heart without making waves. A little mystery in them? That's a bonus. You love a riddle you can slowly unravel. Most compatible signs. Scorpio. The emotional depth and loyalty of Scorpio create a magnetic, even psychic connection with you. Their intensity meets yours, and you both appreciate the unspoken language of love. Together, you form a powerful emotional and intuitive bond that feels destined. Cancer. As fellow water signs, you and Cancer speak the same emotional dialect. They provide the kind of nurturing you need, and you offer them spiritual support in return. It's a soft, sweet, stable connection filled with trust and mutual care. Capricorn. On the surface, Capricorn may seem too practical for you, but in reality, they ground your dreams and give you structure. In return, you open them up emotionally and add poetry to their prose. It's a beautiful dance between earth and water. Aquarius. As a neighboring sign, Aquarius brings shared values, vision, humanitarianism, independence. You connect through ideas, activism, and a desire to evolve. Emotionally, they may not be as deep, but they respect your soul's mission. Less compatible signs. Gemini. While mentally stimulating, Gemini often lacks the emotional stability and depth you crave. They may find your intensity overwhelming, and you may find their flippancy hurtful. Sagittarius. You want deep, emotional connection. Sagittarius wants freedom and adventure. Your needs may clash, and you may feel neglected while they feel caged. Aries. Aries is bold, impulsive, and direct. You are sensitive, nuanced, and layered. Their intensity can feel abrasive, while your need for emotional connection may feel like too much for them. You both need different kinds of passion. In love, you're here to go deep, not wide. You're not looking for a fairy tale, you're looking for a soul journey. And when you find it, you become the kind of partner that changes lives forever. Sex and intimacy. Let's strip away the surface, because that's exactly what you do when it comes to sex. You go beyond the physical. For you, intimacy is an alchemy of body, soul, mind, and energy. You don't just want to be touched, you want to be felt. Deeply, viscerally, spiritually. The bedroom is your temple, your canvas, your sanctuary. Every movement, every breath, every sigh is part of a larger ritual where pleasure becomes poetry. You're incredibly intuitive in bed, sometimes eerily so. You can sense what your partner needs before they even whisper it. Their tension, their longing, their fears. You read them like sacred scripture. Your empathy becomes erotic. You know when to slow down, when to tease, when to dive in. You're not just a lover. You're a healer with hands and lips that remember every silent cry your partner never voiced. Foreplay, for you, begins long before you enter the bedroom. It starts in a glance across the table, a text at 11:11, a shared song that suddenly feels like a secret language. You turn anticipation into an art form, a brush of the fingers, a whisper in the ear. The moment their soul says, "I feel safe with you," that's when it begins. You don't make love to bodies, you make love to stories, to secrets, to souls. But, and this is important, you can't turn off your emotional depth, even when things get hot. If your partner treats intimacy as just a physical act, something transactional or purely instinctual, you'll feel unseen and used. Even the best chemistry can leave you cold if there's no emotional resonance. You need meaning, you need context. You need to know that your vulnerability is being held with reverence, not convenience. Your sexuality is fluid, artistic, and boundless. You're open to exploring fantasies, taboos, and the weird corners of desire, but only when trust is sacred and connection is strong. You're not afraid of the dark, as long as there's truth in it. In the right hands, you become uncontainable, passionate, tender, wildly imaginative. You don't perform, you transform. And because of all this, intimacy with you is unforgettable. You leave fingerprints on people's spirits. They may not always understand you, but they never forget the way you made them feel. You're the rare kind of lover who doesn't just take your partner to bed, you take them to another dimension. Friendship. You're the kind of friend people write novels about. The one who shows up with soup when someone's sick, even if they never asked. The one who sends playlists instead of small talk. The one who can sit silently beside a grieving friend and say everything without saying a word. You don't just support your friends, you carry them when they can't walk. Your loyalty runs deeper than most people's romantic relationships. People naturally gravitate toward you. They tell you their secrets without even meaning to. There's something about your energy that feels soft, non-threatening, open. You radiate safety, emotional safety, psychic safety, spiritual safety. You're the person people turn to when they're breaking, lost, or just need someone to see them without judgment. Your friendship isn't transactional. You don't keep score. You give because it's who you are. You remember the little things, like how your friend takes their coffee, or the name of their first pet, or the fact that a certain song makes them cry. You weave intimacy into the fabric of your friendship so naturally, it feels like breathing. But here's where it gets tricky. You give so much that you sometimes forget to receive. You attract people who are drawn to your warmth, but not all of them give it back. You're a light, and lights attract everything, including moths, emotional vampires, drama addicts, and those who mistake empathy for weakness often find their way into your orbit. And because you want to help, to heal, to fix, you sometimes let them stay too long. Learning to set boundaries is your soul lesson in friendship, not because you want to push people away, but because your energy is sacred. You don't need 100 friends. You need a small circle who get you, who refill your cup, who remind you that your feelings matter too. The kind of friends who say, "You don't always have to be strong for me." Your tribe? They're not surface level. They're thinkers, feelers, creators, seekers. You bond with people who are just as fascinated by human nature as you are. Friends who can shift from philosophy to absurdity in seconds. Who love deep talks, weird dreams, midnight confessions. People who laugh loud, cry hard, and aren't afraid of vulnerability. The friendships you form are lifelong, even when distance, time, or life gets in the way. You don't need constant contact to maintain a connection. Once you let someone in, they stay there. In your heart, in your prayers, in your memories, always. Career and business. You weren't born to climb someone else's corporate ladder. You were born to build your own bridge between worlds. The world as it is, and the world as it could be. Career for you isn't just about income, it's about impact. You need to feel that what you do matters, that it touches people, elevates consciousness, or at the very least, makes the world feel a little less lonely. A repetitive, soulless 9 to 5 might keep your fridge full, but it will slowly starve your spirit. You thrive in careers that allow you to express your emotional intelligence, your creativity, your empathy, and your visionary thinking. Whether you're using a pen, a camera, a guitar, or your voice, your real tools are your heart and your imagination. You're a natural creator, and not just of art, but of meaning. You take abstract emotions and turn them into something people can feel, touch, understand. You're also a born healer, not necessarily with stethoscopes or prescriptions, but through presence, words, energy, and compassion. People feel better simply by being around you. They leave conversations with you lighter, more hopeful, more whole. That's a gift. Whether as a therapist, coach, or even a behind-the-scenes support figure, you shine when you're helping others reconnect with their truth. And let's not forget your quiet leadership potential. You may not crave the spotlight, but when you believe in a cause, you lead with conviction. You're the kind of activist or nonprofit leader who can unite people across differences, inspiring them through shared humanity. You don't preach from a pedestal, you invite from the heart. Interestingly, you also have a latent talent for innovation, especially when your creativity meets technology. You could easily be the kind of person who designs a mindful app, launches a wellness platform, or develops a digital space for healing and art. As long as there's a purpose behind the pixels, you're in your element. You don't just want to work, you want to feel like your work is aligned. That's why your career path might look nonlinear. You might try 10 things before finding the right one. But every role, even the ones that don't fit, teaches you something vital, what your soul will, and won't, settle for. And while you're not the type to chase money for its own sake, when you're doing what you love, abundance tends to follow. Especially in creative, spiritual, or emotionally intelligent fields, your potential to earn is deeply tied to how authentically you're expressing yourself. When your heart's fully in it, people notice, and opportunities flood in. Structure-wise, you perform best in environments that allow freedom and fluidity. A strict office culture with a rigid dress code and time clock will drain you. But give you the trust to follow your instincts, and you'll not only meet expectations, you'll exceed them. You're a self-starter, but not in the traditional sense. You're driven by inspiration, not deadlines. And when someone says, "Just trust your gut," they've just spoken your professional love language. Your best work environments are collaborative yet quiet, open yet grounded, with just enough space to retreat when you need to recharge. You don't need constant praise, but you do need to know that what you're doing makes a difference. That you're not just ticking boxes, you're touching lives. The moment your work feels like an extension of your soul is the moment you become unstoppable. Business compatibility. In business, just like in life, you crave authentic connection. You don't want to team up with people who talk a big game but lack substance. You want collaborators who see your vision, even the parts you haven't fully explained yet, and say, "I feel it too." That kind of resonance isn't just helpful, it's necessary. You work best with business partners who not only recognize your intuitive style, but also respect it. You don't always plan things in a linear way. You work from gut feelings, flashes of inspiration, quiet contemplation. To some, that may seem vague. But the right partner? They'll understand that your instincts are often more accurate than their spreadsheets. The perfect business collaborator for you is someone who brings structure without suffocation. You're the ideas person, the dreamer, the visionary. But to bring those dreams to life, you sometimes need someone who knows how to manage details, systems, and execution. You bring the why, and they bring the how. When that balance clicks, you can build something extraordinary. Support is a big deal for you in business partnerships, not just financially or strategically, but emotionally. You don't thrive in competitive or cutthroat environments. You need partners who believe in collaboration over competition, who are kind, patient, and consistent, who remind you of your worth when you forget it yourself. And let's be honest, you can get overwhelmed. Your creative brain doesn't always enjoy numbers, budgets, contracts, and bureaucracy. The ideal partner for you does. They're the anchor to your sail, the ground to your sky. Not to limit you, but to help you launch higher, further, clearer. So who are your most compatible zodiac business partners? Virgo. Meticulous, organized, and detail-oriented. They're your built-in project manager and editor. While you dream, they execute. They help keep your chaos productive, and in turn, you inspire them to soften and expand. Taurus. Steady, practical, financially savvy. Taurus can turn your vision into a sustainable business model. They don't rush or overreact, and their calm presence helps ground your emotional tides. Aquarius. This is a soul-level match in business. You both value innovation, future-forward thinking, and big-picture ideas. Together, you could revolutionize an industry or launch a movement. You bring emotional resonance, and Aquarius brings intellectual clarity. But no matter their sign, your ideal partner is someone who sees business not just as profit, but as purpose. Someone who understands that success is emotional as well as financial. Someone who knows that when your soul feels safe and supported, you become a force of nature. Numerology insights. Life path destiny. Those born on the 19th of any month carry a powerful blend of independence and responsibility. This number, being a composite of 1 and 9, suggests a soul with a strong will, capable of leading with confidence but also meant to learn important karmic lessons along the way. The number 1 gives them drive, originality, and initiative. They naturally seek to carve their own path in life, often preferring to be self-directed and resistant to control. The 9, on the other hand, imbues a deeper mission, compassion, wisdom, and the call to serve something greater than oneself. The energy of 19 is sometimes called the Prince or Pioneer number in numerology. It speaks to someone born to break barriers and overcome adversity. However, this is not always an easy road. People with this birth number often face early challenges that force them to develop self-reliance. The journey of the 19 born is about transforming hardship into mastery, ego into service, and loneliness into leadership. They are destined to be independent thinkers who may often feel they're carrying the weight of the world alone, yet they are never without purpose. Month of birth, February. February is the second month of the year and is ruled by the number 2, a symbol of intuition, cooperation, sensitivity, and duality. For someone born on February 19th, this adds an important emotional and interpersonal dimension to their nature. While the core personality driven by the number 1 from the 19th leans toward boldness and autonomy, the influence of February softens the edges. It brings empathy, a strong intuitive instinct, and a need for meaningful connection. This person is rarely satisfied with surface-level relationships or one-dimensional pursuits. They crave depth, soul, and sincerity in all things. The vibration of February creates a natural diplomat. People born in this month often have a talent for sensing what others are feeling even when nothing is said aloud. There is a quiet strength to them, something in the way they observe, listen, and reflect. However, this heightened sensitivity can also lead to internal conflict. There is often a push and pull between the desire to go it alone, the one energy, and the equally strong need for love and support, the two energy. Learning to balance these two parts of themselves is an essential life task. When mastered, it gives them a rare ability to lead with empathy and act with both head and heart. Summary for February 19th birthdays. The personality born on February 19th is a study in contrasts, fiercely independent yet emotionally attuned, intellectually strong yet spiritually inclined. These individuals often feel different from others, as if they don't fully belong to the world around them. This sense of otherness is not a flaw, it's a sign of their unique path. They are often called to bridge the gap between material achievement and emotional fulfillment, between leading others and healing them. Their life is rarely conventional, but it is almost always meaningful. At their best, they are visionaries with heart, capable of pioneering change not just for personal success but for the betterment of others. They are likely to walk a path that blends intellect and intuition, strategy and spirit. But to thrive, they must learn to accept support without feeling weak, to trust their emotional instincts as much as their logic, and to recognize that true strength includes vulnerability. Their journey is not just about reaching the top, it's about lifting others as they rise. Druid horoscope, the pine tree. In the ancient Celtic tree calendar, those born under the sign of the pine tree are seen as spiritual sentinels, quiet, steady souls who embody both grace and endurance. The pine doesn't demand attention, but it commands presence. Tall, rooted, and unwavering, this tree symbolizes people who are built for the long game. You may not seek the spotlight, but when others are lost in the chaos, you're the one they look to for calm, clarity, and consistency. At your core, you cherish peace and solitude. You're not antisocial. You simply thrive in quiet moments that allow you to reflect, recharge, and connect with something deeper than the noise of the world. You might feel most alive in nature, in stillness, in spaces where your thoughts can echo and settle like snowfall. Crowds can drain you, but solitude? That's your sanctuary. It's where your soul blooms. You're the kind of person who could spend a weekend alone and come out with 10 new insights, a handwritten letter, and a better sense of who you are. You also have exceptional taste, not in a flashy or materialistic way, but in a deeply refined, understated sense of elegance. Whether it's the art on your wall, the fabric you wear, or the words you speak, everything you choose has meaning. You value quality over quantity, depth over trend, and you carry yourself with quiet dignity, a kind of inner nobility that doesn't need approval. You don't chase validation, you simply are, and that authenticity radiates strength. Beneath your calm exterior lies a strong will, a fierce independence that may not always be obvious, but it's there, unshakable. You don't bark orders or demand control, but you're not easily swayed. When you make a decision, it's deliberate, researched, and rooted in your values. And once committed, you're practically immovable. This makes you incredibly reliable, but also someone who can be misunderstood by more impulsive types. Still, you'd rather be steady than trendy, real than rushed. In relationships, you are deeply loyal and devoted. You don't open up quickly, and you don't waste emotional energy on superficial bonds. But when you love for life. You support, protect, and commit with your entire being. You may not always express it through words, but your actions speak volumes. You're the partner who remembers the little things, who shows up when it matters, who stays even when things get hard. Pine tree people are not here for short bursts, they're built for longevity. Your growth may be slow, but it is deliberate and permanent. You rise through challenges with quiet resilience. Others may burn bright and fizzle out, but you keep going, stronger, wiser, deeper. Once you've found your ground, your roots run so deep that almost nothing can shake you. You're not just surviving this life, you're mastering it, one steady breath at a time. Vedic Astrology, Shatabisha Nakshatra. In the intricate tapestry of Vedic astrology, many souls born on February 19 fall under the mysterious and complex Shatabisha Nakshatra, a lunar mansion ruled by Rahu, the shadow planet associated with illusion, transformation, and the breaking of karmic cycles. If this is your nakshatra, then your life isn't just a personal journey, it's a spiritual mission. You weren't born to color inside the lines. You were born to redraw the picture entirely. One of your most profound gifts is your innate healing ability. This doesn't necessarily mean you'll become a doctor or therapist, though you could. It means you instinctively know how to mend what's broken, whether it's a heart, a belief system, or an entire way of being. You bring light to darkness. Your words soothe, your presence stabilizes, your insight liberates. You may be drawn to energy work, holistic healing, or simply being the one everyone calls when their world falls apart. Healing isn't just what you do, it's who you are. Your intellect is razor sharp, and your mind is often leagues ahead of your peers. You don't just consume information, you restructure it. You have a natural talent for technology, science, metaphysics, and complex systems. You're the kind of thinker who can take abstract theories and translate them into real-world revolutions. Innovation is your second language, and traditional thinking rarely satisfies you for long. You're always looking for what's next, what's possible. But with that brilliance comes a rebellious streak. You don't trust authority blindly. You question societal norms, spiritual dogmas, and anything that doesn't feel authentically aligned. You're not a rebel for the sake of rebellion, you're a reformer. You were born to challenge outdated structures and inspire transformation. And while that can make you seem intense or unconventional, it's exactly that energy that pushes the world forward. What truly sets Shatabisha natives apart is their connection to mysticism and the occult. You may feel an affinity for astrology, tarot, sacred geometry, or ancient rituals. You're a seeker of hidden truths, and you often experience spiritual awakenings earlier than most. The veil is thinner for you. Dreams, symbols, synchronicities, they speak to you in a language your soul already understands. Others may dismiss magic, you live it. Ultimately, your mission is to heal, awaken, and dismantle illusions, not just for yourself, but for others. You hold the mirror up to the world and say, look deeper. You're a bridge between science and spirit, logic and mysticism, structure and chaos. You live in the paradox and pull wisdom from both sides. In a world that often chooses comfort over truth, you are here to stir the pot, to raise consciousness, and to remind us that transformation is not only possible, it's necessary. You don't walk a linear path, but every detour is divine. Every shadow you face becomes a torch you hold for someone else. Shatabisha is not the easiest nakshatra, but it may be one of the most powerful. And if it's yours, you're not just a February 19th native. You're a force, a healer, a revolutionary soul disguised in human skin. Flower horoscope, mimosa. In the language of flowers, few blossoms carry such a poetic paradox as the mimosa, a symbol of both exquisite sensitivity and quiet strength. If you were born on February 19th, mimosa is the floral mirror of your soul. It reflects everything that makes you who you are, your emotional depth, your intuitive nature, your hidden courage, and the way you navigate the world with both tenderness and tenacity. The mimosa flower is famously reactive, it closes its leaves at the slightest touch. And that's exactly how you move through relationships and life. You feel everything deeply. You're exquisitely attuned to energies, tones of voice, and spoken meanings. You can walk into a room and pick up on tension others don't notice. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's intelligence of the heart, and it allows you to love and connect in rare, beautiful ways. But it also means you guard yourself. You don't offer your heart lightly, because when you hurt, you really hurt. So you protect your petals. And yet, beneath that fragile exterior lies a core of steel. Mimosa thrives in the wild, under intense sun, in hard soil. It doesn't just survive, it adapts. And so do you. You may look delicate to the world, but your soul is rooted in something ancient and unshakable. You endure more than people realize. You carry pain with grace. You get up quietly and keep going when others would break. Your strength doesn't scream, it whispers, endures, and blooms. Emotionally, you're complex. You crave closeness but need safety. You want to trust, but only when it's earned. Your heart is like a hidden garden. Only those who are patient and gentle enough to wait see it in full bloom. And once someone earns that trust, you open up with breathtaking beauty. You become vibrant, expressive, nurturing. Your love is soft, but it runs deep, and those lucky enough to receive it never forget it. Creatively, the mimosa in you manifests as artistic and emotional intelligence. Whether you write, paint, sing, or simply create beauty in your everyday life, you use your sensitivity as a source of inspiration. You feel things others miss, and then you translate those feelings into words, images, gestures, or energy that touches people in profound ways. You don't have to be loud to make an impact. Your power is in your subtlety. Spiritually, mimosa represents a soul that's awake, but private. You might not talk much about your beliefs or inner experiences, but they guide you quietly, powerfully. You may be drawn to rituals, meditation, or nature-based wisdom. You understand cycles, emotions, the language of the moon. And like the mimosa plant, you respond not just to what's said, but to what's felt. You're not here to be ordinary. You're here to remind people that softness is not fragility, that emotional openness is a form of strength, and that vulnerability, when held with wisdom, is the key to deep, lasting connection. You don't bloom for just anyone, but when you do, it's unforgettable. Birthstone wisdom, amethyst. Amethyst is more than your birthstone, it's your spiritual ally, your energetic anchor, and your cosmic compass. Its luminous purple hue is the perfect reflection of your Piscean soul, mystical, intuitive, compassionate, and deeply attuned to realms beyond the physical. Amethyst isn't just a pretty stone, it's a healer, a protector, a reminder of your inner light when the outer world feels overwhelming. This crystal is known for its calming power. When your thoughts race, when anxiety creeps in, when emotions threaten to drown your clarity, amethyst brings you back to center. It soothes the nervous system, slows the mind, and opens the heart. It reminds you to breathe, to pause, to feel without fear. If you've ever felt emotionally raw or energetically overloaded, and let's be real, you often do, amethyst is your rescue remedy in crystal form. But it's not just about calm, it's also about intuition. You were born with an intuitive gift that's hard to define but impossible to ignore. You just know things. You feel truth before it's spoken. You dream vividly. You sense meanings hidden beneath the surface. Amethyst enhances this natural gift by activating your third eye and strengthening your psychic awareness. It helps you trust your inner voice, even when logic tells you otherwise. As a spiritual amplifier, amethyst also supports your connection to higher realms. Whether you're drawn to meditation, prayer, tarot, or astrology, this stone acts as a bridge between you and the divine. It enhances dreams, deepens spiritual practices, and offers clarity in moments of existential doubt. If you're ever unsure of your path, or feel lost in the chaos, amethyst gently guides you back to your soul's truth. It also has a protective frequency, shielding you from negative energies and emotional toxicity. You're an empath, and you absorb people's moods, wounds, and projections without even trying. Amethyst helps you create energetic boundaries so you don't carry what isn't yours. It keeps your aura clean and your heart protected, allowing you to show up for others without losing yourself. Use it intentionally. Meditate with it on your forehead or chest. Keep a small piece in your pocket or bag. Place it under your pillow to enhance dream recall and nighttime healing. When life feels chaotic, hold it in your palm and breathe. Let it whisper the truth you sometimes forget. You are already whole, already wise, already powerful. Amethyst isn't just a stone for you, it's a soulmate in mineral form. A reminder that within your softness lies ancient strength, that your sensitivity is a gift, that your spirit is vast and violet and endlessly resilient. Final thoughts, the February 19th soul. If you were born on February 19th, you are more than just a combination of sun signs, stones, flowers, or astrological archetypes. You are a living constellation, a being whose essence was forged from emotion, intellect, intuition, and soul. You are magic wrapped in mystery, but not the kind that hides in shadows. You are the kind of magic that heals, illuminates, and transforms. There's something otherworldly about you, yet your heart is firmly planted in the human experience. You feel it all, and that's your superpower. You are a dreamer, yes, but not the naive kind. Your dreams are blueprints. You see what's possible even when others can't. You carry entire futures inside your imagination. You aren't content with the surface-level version of life. You want it raw, honest, soulful, real. You ask the deep questions. You sit with the uncomfortable answers. And you have this uncanny ability to translate pain into beauty, chaos into clarity, silence into something that speaks volumes. There is a healer in you, one that doesn't necessarily need a title or a degree. You heal through presence, through listening, through witnessing. You are the friend who stays, the lover who sees, the stranger who says something kind at just the right moment. Your empathy is not performative, it is embodied, and because of that, you often carry more than your share of invisible weight. But still, you give. You give even when you're hurting. And somehow, through giving, you find your way back to yourself. Your soul is wild, but not chaotic. It's wild like the ocean, deep, uncontainable, ever-moving. You don't like labels or cages. You don't follow maps, you write your own. Your path may look different from everyone else's, and that's not a flaw. It's a calling. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, quietly, gracefully, powerfully. You're here to question what's broken, challenge what's false, and breathe life into what's waiting to be born. You are also a romantic in the most spiritual sense. Not just in love, but in how you see the world. You see stories in strangers' eyes. You hear music in silence. You find beauty in places others overlook. When you love with your entire being, with your dreams, your words, your hands, your heartbeat. You write poetry without ever picking up a pen. You love like it's a sacred vow, and you expect nothing less in return. But here's what you must remember, your energy is sacred. You can't give it away to anyone who asks. Not everyone deserves your softness. Not every soul is ready for your depth. Learn to protect your heart, not by building walls, but by choosing wisely who gets to walk through your door. You are not here to fix everyone. You are here to honor your truth, and share your light with those who respect it. And when life feels overwhelming, because it will, when you feel too much, or like you're too far ahead of your time, or like you don't belong here, look up. The stars are not distant. They are your ancestors. They are where your spirit first learned to dance. The universe speaks your language. You've never been alone, not even once. So trust your magic, trust your path, trust your sensitivity, your intensity, your softness, your fire. You are not broken, you are just built for more. More feeling, more depth, more meaning. And that is not a burden. It's a blessing. Enjoyed this cosmic deep dive? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss your horoscope, personality guides, and star-powered insights. Check the links in the description for your free birth chart reading and to follow us on socials for more daily astro magic. The stars are speaking, are you listening?